Just before this starts, I just wanted to apologize for saying like and right so much. Just try to ignore it. Welcome back to the channel. I have lots of footage that I don't want to throw away, so I'm gonna ramble over it and probably cut it short because it's like 30 minutes of footage. And my other video, currently ready to go, just not published, is like 30 minutes long, but like whatever. The background footage is literally of nothing. It's grinding for resources, which is going to be what most of this game is. So I'm going to have to just learn to like just get rid of all the grinding footage. But at least I could do something with this. Anyway, I wanted to ramble and rant at whoever would listen to this because there's just things that have been on my mind recently. Many different things on my mind, such as YouTube shorts. Like, I'll be watching these YouTube shorts creators, right? And their whole job is to read, right? Read tweets, read Tumblr posts, all this gay shit, right? They're doing all this, and most of the time it's unfunny, right? And that's fine on its own. It's fine if it's unfunny, because you're allowed to be unfunny. That's the beautiful thing about the internet is even if you're unfunny, you're allowed to be here. You can be corny, you could do whatever, right? And ultimately, there is no problem with that. But on top of being unfunny, being gay and just being bad at what you're supposed to do, right? Like, I will watch several of these videos and they can't even fucking read it right, dog. Like, your whole job is to read the thing and you can't even read it right? Like, you misread it? Isn't that the whole thing that you're supposed to be doing is reading it, right? And these guys are all like white, pasty, like English speakers, right? They're born and raised in America, or at least I would think so. Or at least in any English speaking country. That's all I can see when I think of their voice and what I would associate their face with that voice, right? And misreading it just pisses me off, like, so much. And then of course, I'm reading along with it, right? I'm reading along with it. And I can clearly see that they misread it because I'm not a moron, right? I know how to pronounce certain words. And it makes me think, like, did they just do that all in one take? Are all of these, like, reading tweets and Tumblr posts and Blue Sky and all that shit, is that like a content farm? Is that the whole point of this? Is that the whole point of this? Is that like there is just a content farm and they can just pump out like this? Because I mean, of course, it's already inherently low effort on its own, but it's just like I am not paying attention to their channels. How many uploads are they getting per day, right? Because if that's a standard of quality, like 10 is low, right? You should be getting out at least like 20. But I'm not paying attention to these guys because I hate their content with my soul. I don't want to sit around and watch this guy read some unfunny joke from Tumblr from this idiot who has like pronouns and thinks they're funny but they're not. Like, why would I want to stick around for that? That's just ridiculous to even think about, like, to even expect me to do that. And the worst part is some people probably think it's funny, right? And I'm smart enough to realize, yeah, no, there are probably a lot of people that chuckle at this. And it just like makes me think, how far gone are we as a society to the point where somebody would actually think that's funny, right? Oh, and all the other shit with the pronouns, like borderline pedophilic shit, calling people eggs, right? Oh, they just don't know it yet. So we're gonna groom them into the right direction. Like, the hell are you on about, dog? Can you just let people be on their own? You don't have to like force them in different directions. Like, what the hell? Like, if you just let people figure out on their own, then yeah, sure. If this kid's actually gay, then he'll figure it out on his own. You don't have to steer him in the right direction. Assuming it is the right direction, because most of the time I'm assuming it's wrong. We have people, trans people, who are getting like a year down the line and saying, actually, no, I don't think this is who I am. I don't think this is right. And it's ridiculous to think that they were pushed in the direction of, oh, you're trans, when that's not the case, right? It's ridiculous. My, it's just so interesting, right? It's like all of society has been, I don't know what, corrupted. Something's happened, right? To the point where we're in a different period overall, right? Like we already know that this pronouns, trans and gay stuff started happening like maybe 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago, right? It's been brewing for a long time, and now it's kind of at its highest point so far. Probably going to get higher or hopefully lower if we can just chill the hell out. But I don't know. It's at the point where we are almost at like a standstill, right? Like we can't continue forward with one sect of people being like pro grooming, right? Because that's essentially what it is. It's grooming. And I don't understand even in the thought process, right? Because I understand that most of the like people see this as like emotional stuff. Like they'll be pushing for like free trans healthcare and stuff like that. But it's just like even if I see that from their perspective of like an emotional thing, it's just I suppose I can't even though. That's the worst part of it is I will look at it as like a well, this is a thing that you want for yourself, right? So why should it be considered healthcare, right? Like, I suppose there is the argument of, oh, they'll kill themselves if they don't get this affirming care. But realistically, the statistics say that's false, right? Trans people have, from what I've seen, a higher likelihood of killing themselves after getting trans affirming care, after getting surgeries. And maybe that says something about how easy it is to get the surgeries and probably that they were covered in the past, but I don't know. Like, 'cause I did some research, and on my own, I found out that more likely than not, it's just neutral and not more or less in the past. But I don't know. Like, because at the same time, you're just like, oh yeah, I wanna look like a girl because I feel like a girl, right? And then you get the surgery to make you look like a girl, but you don't look like a girl. You don't look all the way like a girl. And on top of that, now you have health complications, right? So you're just making your life worse for nearly no benefit. It just doesn't make sense. And then to have big government cover that for you, like, how is that the thought process, right? How is that oh, this is the clear way to go, right? The clear way to go is to get people some counseling or something. I don't know. I have other things that I want to talk about too. I'm kind of blanking on what they are, but um Undertale. The Undertale and Deltarune community. That still does have to do with the queer trans stuff, but I've seen a storm brewing. I've seen parts of the internet where there are the, you know, conservative crowd, the Republicans, the guys who like guns, right? I've seen them like kind of wanting to colonize Deltarune and other communities that are filled with these mentally ill 14-year-old girls. And that makes me happy. That makes me happy. Like, I watched a video where it was, well, basically the guy that I'm watching so far just makes music, right? He's like slowing down and like adding reverb to music and then putting like funny images in front, like Chris in front of a Trump 2024 flag or something like that. And basically, I saw people referring to Chris like as a he, right? And I was so used to interacting with the other Deltarune community shit, where to the point where like anytime somebody misgenders one of the characters, I'll be like, because I will enter the comments on their comment, because most of this shit is on YouTube. I'll enter the comments on their comment and I'll like have a bet with myself. It's just like, how long will it take for somebody to correct them? I scroll down a little bit, it's like right at the top, right? Already. It's just like, actually, Chris is they them, and that's Sham is they them. And I'm like, dude, let people have fun, right? Let people just do their own thing. Like dog. Like I remember seeing an animation of somebody, and the animator, had, well, I think Susie referred to Chris as a he, right? And I don't care, right? I am one of the people that just do not care about it. And I I saw a comment after comment, and eventually I found one of the comments saying that it had been like it was like 90, I think 90 of the comments were freaking about Chris being misgendered. I was like, dude, that is so ridiculous, right? It's just it's unnecessary at that point, right? It's just like everybody is like hopping on the thing, and it's just like, oh, I'm the savior of Deltarune. I'm gonna save Deltarune because this bigot doesn't understand. Just like, dude, the thing that I always think to myself is, dude, if Chris saw you in real life, even if you said something about the freaking pronouns, right? Chris would probably snuff you and leave, right? Chris would hate your guts in all likelihood. We see Chris as this, like, everybody it like inflects their own personality and beliefs on characters, right? I mean, I've seen a lot of that, right? I've seen a lot of, oh, this character would agree with me, right? I've seen freaking Sonic would hate ice. Like freaking okay, thanks buddy. Thanks for your input. I don't give a shit, but all right. Like you're entitled to your opinion, I guess. And essentially like I've seen in these conservative spaces, I've seen Chris would support ice, by the way. I was like, dude, that is awesome. I like that. I like that. That's so funny, right? It's like turning it on its head, right? It's like it's always the other people doing it, right? It's always like the lefties, the Democrats, the liberals, right? Which is so funny, right? They barely have any credence to call themselves liberals because all these liberals don't actually support liberal policies and liberal prospects, right? Liberal comes from the word liberty, right? Freedom. There's not very much freedom in getting your job taken away because you said something mean on the internet. Like that goes way against that. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. It's really funny to see that turn, right? And I'm hoping these communities get so much bigger because I understand that there are probably a lot of people out there like me that share my same opinions of, well, I think I think Deltarune is cool, but all this trans shit is just too much. And that's ultimately where I stand, right? It's just like, yeah, I like this, but it's the space is controlled by all these people that I ultimately don't want to have any like association with. I don't want to even look at these guys. I remember something about Shay. He got his the freaking Google Docs or whatever, right? The Google Docs, he's a groomer or whatever he did. I remember watching a video about it, and some dude said, screw him or whatever, right? And then there's just like, actually, Shay is a they, them. And then I think the guy in the comments said, dude, I don't care about I don't care about his pronouns. He's a bad person. I shouldn't have to respect his pronouns if he's a bad person. And then the person fired back, you're an Undertale fan, act like one. Right? And I was just thinking, dude, if this shit makes me an Undertale fan, if this respecting pronouns and all this bullshit for people who realistically are bad people and should not have anything of theirs respected, right? If you are actually the bad person that everyone is saying you are, why should I have to care about this tiny little thing that hurt your little feelings, right? I shouldn't. That's bullshit. That's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. So why would you say anything like that? It's like it's just so much mental disconnect. It's just like cuz ultimately at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's like emotional shit. It's like, "Oh, I don't want them to hurt my little feelings." Like, dude, I don't give a shit. I'm going to hurt your feelings all I want and you're going to do nothing about it. Cuz you're a little bitch. And like seriously, dude, like what is even up with that? There's so many problems with this community. And that's the worst thing about it, right? Is this just no common sense here. And that's my least favorite part. It's just I like the games, right? I like Toby Fox games. And he puts this stuff in these games, right? Where it's like the gender stuff, right? And he is allowed to do that. He can put this freaking lion looking dude who actually is trans, right? Like I don't care about that. It's his game. He's allowed to do whatever he wants with it. But it attracts such a mentally ill, autistic, weirdo community. Oh, well, if my friend sees this, that's sorry if you see this. I'm not gonna say you by name, but if you do. But yeah, the community, like the freaking weirdo, like mentally ill degen community. I detest it. I detest all of it. I don't know. I wish I could change it, right? Sculpt it in my own image. We should bring Jesus into the Deltarune community because Lord knows they need it. Like Jesus comes down from the heavens and bitch slaps most of these creators. Just you're not on the right track right now, my son. Please, well, I don't know, seek me, he would say, right? But I don't know. I don't know. It's it's a really weird situation, right? It's quite strange. I don't know. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, I suppose because I am like an artistic guy, right? I like drawing shit. Even though I'm not that good at it, I do like drawing shit. And ultimately that has led me down a path like discovering these actual like conservative enjoyers of this game has led me down a path of, hey, wait, I can draw anything I want. I'm just gonna fucking draw Chris in Ice Get Up, right? Or like Birdly at Auschwitz or some other stuff, right? Like I like funny things that align with what I'm thinking, right? And that's like, well, not the Auschwitz stuff, but you know. And ultimately that is cool. I like that. I like the ability to do stuff like that where I can just do what I want. That's just really cool. So, I mean, I need to start sharing my art or something. I need to get a Twitter account, X, I suppose. But like I don't know. Even then it's not going to get much traction and I don't know, my line art's terrible. Very rough, sketchy looking stuff, but I don't know. I don't think it matters. Just getting the message out there. But it would be funny. I mean, seeing all that the hate, but of course, that comes with the weirdos that want to dox people just for having the wrong opinion. So much freaking drama going on recently, right? Like all this political shit. Like ICE, for example, right? I was talking about like my character would support ICE, right? Like, Chris would totally support ICE, by the way, and drawing Chris in Ice Get Up. It's kind of baffling to me that people are opposed to ICE. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me that someone would get so up in arms about ICE and like everything about ICE. ICE is a normal federal thing that they've used forever. I mean, so far Trump doesn't even have as many deportations as Obama had. Of course, it makes sense that he would have more deportations because he served 8 years straight, and Trump barely gets his feet off the ground doing anything, and then all of a sudden everybody's trying to stop him, right? I mean, we remember all the small town judges blocking every little thing that he did. We have states like California are just not allowed, like not even instituting certain policies, right? They're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna reserve our right not to do that, right? I mean, at least California is working with ICE a little bit more than like, I don't know, Minnesota. I think New York, it's also having some issues as well. Oh my, New York as well. Like, let's don't even like it's so funny, right? It's so funny that they would vote in this guy who promises all these things, including like socialist policies, right? And then things actually turn out being bad, right? Who would have guessed that socialism isn't really good, right? Who would have guessed that socialism causes problems, right? We got trash piles like several feet high, like taller than people. We got like cars buried in snow because the snow plows couldn't be bothered to actually like work properly. It's just it's worse and worse and worse, right? It's not good. It's very much very no good bad. And the fact that people still believe in socialism and communism is kind of wild to me, right? Like I understand it. I've watched many videos about how communism works, right? It's like mythos, right? It's just like, oh yeah, well, the idea is that everybody gets money, right? Everybody, the rich guys give away their money and the poor guys take some of the rich guys' money and everybody works together and we all share in this magnificent society, right? That would work on a small scale. Don't get me wrong. Communism would work on a small scale while when everyone is chipping in, but on a big scale, like a whole country, it just would it's unfeasible, right? You have rich guys who don't want to give away their money and poor guys who don't want to work. If you give away the rich guy's money to the poor guy that doesn't want to work, the money runs out. The poor guy has to have a motivation to work because if he doesn't, he'll starve. So ultimately, what we end up having is you take money from the rich guy. He's like, okay, you took my money, I'm leaving. So he says, you took my money, I'm leaving. Now there's no rich guy to take the money from. And the poor guy has lost all work ethic because now he's just getting money for free. Now he's just getting money for free. So how do we create a good society on top of that? Right? We can't make a running, functioning society on top of communism or socialism because, well, it just doesn't work. Like, that's what we've seen with California, right? California raising, like, income taxes or whatever. And Elon Musk was like, oh, okay. And he moved to Texas. Now we have less business in California, right? We still got a lot of business in California. But if we keep this kind of stuff up, right? If we keep this kind of stuff up, we're raising taxes on businesses, on large businesses, then the large businesses leave and we miss out on all this financial growth that we could have had. Like in the worst part is it's not a very easy solution, right? You got people who don't have any money and you want them to have money, and there are certain people who can't work, right? There are certain people who can't work. There's certain people who are homeless, who are sick, right? And they all can't work, right? But even with those people in mind, you like putting these programs in place ends up causing issues because, well, there are people who can't work and there are people who don't want to work, right? Like I was talking about the freaking Tumblr stuff, right? Tons of like autistic Tumblr artists who like self-diagnose themselves with issues that they just don't have, right? It's just like because there are some things that are genuine concerns for people who like for work, right? But there are other issues that is just like, I know you can work. You have worked yourself and you're just kind of whining, right? I don't know. It's just because, again, like I was saying, it's a not wanting to work sort of deal, right? Like we see all the memes, like job as a slur, right? Like nobody wants to work, but I don't know. It's difficult times because we're in a new society, fundamentally a new society where we're all raised on the internet and we have like been playing video games since we were really young, and we're so used to this sitting around and doing nothing like lifestyle that at this point it's going to be hard to change that. Like I like to think that I have a really good work ethic, but like there are still issues, right? I mean, especially after COVID happened, right? I mean, I can attest to how my work ethic decreased a lot after COVID because naturally, like, why wouldn't it, right? Like, the whole thing that happened during COVID is we stayed inside all day. Even while we were doing school, we weren't really doing school. We were playing video games on either our second monitor or just alt tabbing every now and again. Like, I remember I was constantly on my phone during these Zoom meetings because what else am I going to do? This is, I mean, most of this stuff is easy, anyways. It's just, it's a tough spot, really. Really, what parents need to do in the future is just be like much more restricting with how, with like internet access. Because although although it makes it easier to raise your kids to have them on the internet, it's also just generally worse, right? It's just generally worse to not be paying attention to your kids, right? They need that. Kids need that like one-on-one connection with their parents because that's, well, I mean, there are certain things, right? Like biologically, we do need this kind of stuff. We need to be this fundamental connection to our parents. We need to learn. We need to go out and do things. And we're having all this stuff taken away from us. What we end up having here is like, because kids are hyperactive, kids are always hyperactive. And taking away the outside playtime and instead in favor of like, oh yeah, we're going to be inside and we're going to play video games because it's easier to control the kid that way. If the kid's in the house, it's easier to make sure that the kid's okay. And that's the worst part, right? Is all of this comes from a good place. I want to make sure that the kid's all right. I want to make sure that the kid's safe. But we can't have all of these things at the same time, right? It's hard to have your kid go out and do things and be safe 100% of the time. And I don't know what the big deal is with, because that was the main concern going into the 2000s, I think. Because before that, it was like kids could kind of just, roam, right? They would go around the block. They would ride their bikes and then go to gas stations, just hang out, right? Throw rocks at like old abandoned school buses, right? Throw rocks at the windows, break them all out, right? And because I'm pretty sure the whole fear became like child molesters and kidnappers, right? But I'm not sure if the rate of kidnappings and child molestation has gone up. I just realized this soda on my desk is half full from last night, so that's a nice treat, I guess. Oh shoot, I should probably get lunch. Well, anyway, I'm back from lunch. I finished this soda. I'm still kind of hungry because I'm a fat ass, but whatever. So anyway, where was I? Yes. Okay, we were talking about the freaking kids roaming around, right? So ultimately, right, like I don't personally think that child safety has gone down, right? I think kids have generally always been like, just wandering around the neighborhood. I think they've generally always been safe. And I mean, kids have always had curfews too, right? Like just constantly, because that is generally when we are most afraid of like bad people roaming about, is the later hours of the night, which I suppose is true because that's that's like as a kid you're always told like, yeah, no, don't go to the park around nighttime because then the big bad teenagers are out there, right? And they'll bully you, they'll be mean. So ultimately at that point it's just like, okay, well, you get home before the streetlights come on, right? That was the rule. You get home before the streetlights come on. But like now we just don't even have that, right? There is no get home before the streetlights come on. It's go to bed before the birds start chirping, right? Because, you know, kids now are staying up super late, playing video games with their friends, which is cool, but like it would be so much more beneficial just to have like that roaming aspect again, right? Just to be able to go out and do things. I should look into the whole rates of kidnappings because that does actually interest me if this fear is warranted or not. Because ultimately, if it's a warranted fear, then I can understand that. But even then, there are precautions you can take, right? Because we have phones now, right? We have phones which connect us to our parents or our, friends instantly, right? So if you're with a pack of your friends, right, and you're going to just wander around the city, right? Just wander around your town or city or wherever, and you need help getting back home because you guys were wandering for too long. Ultimately, that isn't a problem, right? Because you could just call your family or get an Uber. Or like, there's so many different ways, right? There's so many different ways to get out of this situation that it is virtually impossible to get lost and not come back home, right? The only thing you would have to worry about is the kidnapping stuff, which I would feel is eliminated as a risk if you're just there with your like a group of friends, like a decently big group of friends, 3 to 4 people, right? Like as long as you have like numerical superiority, I don't think a freaking kidnapper is going to say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to kidnap all 4 of these kids," right? That's ridiculous. Nobody has the capacity. Like he, even if this Chomo guy is like wanting to kidnap all 4 of these kids, what is he gonna do? Take them one by one? Like you would have to drug all of them, and at that point, it's like, aren't parents already always teaching safety stuff to their kids, right? Don't accept candy from a stranger. Don't be doing. Oh shit, this video's running out. Oh, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. I completely forgot that I'm going to have to edit down all of this crappy audio because I leave so much dead air like just then. But anyway, back on the topic. If you're with a group of your friends, right, and this Chomo guy's gonna try to kidnap you, it's just like, how is that even going to happen? Because of course, like we all know the trope of the freaking weirdo in the van, and then he entices kids in with the candy. But like I just said, like we're already told from a very young age, don't take candy from strangers. Don't help this stranger find his lost puppy. It's obvious that this dude's trying to kidnap you. Just stay away from that. And if you do want to help this guy, like call an adult, and then the adult can help. But at the same time, it's just like it's just weird, right? Because there's also the fact that if we just lived in a better society, if we just lived in a better society, we wouldn't have to worry about like getting kidnapped. Because like think about like Japan. I don't think Japan has like really any well, I would have to look into it, but I like Japan has it to where you could leave your phone on a bench and you could just come back like an hour later and it's still there. So I don't think there's going to be many instances of kidnapping children. But at the same time, I do understand that there are a lot of issues in Japan with like predatory shit, right? Like I hear stories of like child stars rising to prominence, rising in popularity, and then all these creepy Japanese guys, these adult Japanese guys, are like swarming around this dude because, well, he's this young kid and he's really popular. And I don't know, that makes them hard, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. But, anyways, it's just like, I don't even know, dude. I don't even know where I was going with that either. Like, what even was the point I was trying to make? This is recorded like so much later, by the way. My old microphone on my headset died, so I had to buy another one. That's why this sounds weirder. I don't know. Either way, like I think I started with the freaking, COVID changed shit and then went back like several years. So at this point, it's just like, what do we even do? Everything's as a society is just so much different. So like it's impossible to go back to how things were originally. Like it's going to be impossible to go back to a a forgotten age, like a long forgotten time where things were much different. Things were better, I would say. But again, also things were worse. We were really nostalgic for like 2016 and earlier times, but it's just like we forget about shit that happened. We forget about shit that happened around that time, right? Like I remember Me Too shit where it's just like, yeah, I can understand getting justice for these rape victims, but at the same time, it's just like with all the false accusations that came with it, I'm not entirely sure it was 100% worth it. Again, I think rape is evil, right? If you rape people, you're a bad person, arguably, but like at the same time, with people's lives being ruined at a drop of a hat, it's just, I don't know. Either way, I think I need to end this here. So thanks for watching, and hopefully next time I'll give you a shorter video, but I probably won't because fuck you.